Today, let's talk about working from home and how to set it up properly to work remotely. I'm Rafael, and welcome to the channel. Working from home has some great benefits. No commuting, no traffic, working in your pajamas. You're loving the flexibility, you're loving the freedom. You actually want more of this. I have been working at home for the better part of 15 years and has been fantastic. But there are a lot of steps that you need to take to make sure it's set up properly, to make sure you're as efficient as possible. But here's the reality, the work still needs to get done. So you have to put into place systems to help you get your work done. Let's talk about how to avoid some of the pitfalls that you can run into if you're just getting started working remotely. Set up your workspace properly and make it a permanent one. Bouncing around from the kitchen counter, the dining room table, and the bedroom, and back again will only distract you and you'll feel like you're chasing productivity throughout the day. And it'll take you longer to get into the proper mindset and workflow. If you have a dedicated space that's set up properly, your mindset will automatically shift to work when you get into that space. The quieter the workspace, the more productive you'll be in the long run. So setting up your workspace properly is one of the keys to success working from home. When you do have your permanent workspace set, make sure you invest in a really good chair. I use the Steelcase Leap. It's a little bit more expensive chair. I bought it used and I've had it for about 10 years. It's one of the investments in a home office that you'll be thankful that you invested in early. One of the first things that you need to do is practice discipline. How to be productive can vary from person to person. There's time blocking, there's scheduling, there's organizing the night before. So definitely try out some of the techniques that are available online. Find the one that works for you and stick with it. Create a morning routine. By starting the day properly will help you get started on your day really quickly and you'll feel more efficient. For me, I typically wake up a little bit earlier. I start organizing my day, answering all the emails that need to be answered, starting on the projects that I need to work on. And then when I feel like I need a little break, that's when I would have breakfast. Just the act of walking away from the desk, having breakfast, walking around, moving a bit will energize you enough to get through to lunch, but you have already accomplished a good chunk of work just starting out the day. And that's one of the keys to starting work early is to keep the motivation up. So finding those natural breaks will help you stay motivated as you work throughout the day. When you do start the day, try to do your most important tasks first. That's when your mind is the freshest and ready to do the bigger tasks. You will quickly come to understand how your workday will unfold, when you are most productive and when you need to step it back and just do the simpler tasks like email and just organization. Definitely listen to your own workflow and your own productivity. You'll find out when you're most productive and that's when you should block in your most important tasks. And because you're working from home, you can actually set your schedule. If you find that you're most efficient in the morning block and late at night, split up your day to get the most efficient work done in those time slots. Make sure you put in all the work that you need to do for that day, but it won't really matter if you block it out at different points, as long as you get the work done. Distractions will come in all forms. Third coffee break, watch a few YouTube videos. This includes emails, phone calls, and other notifications that you'll get. Our devices are designed to bombard us with as many notifications to pay attention to those things. Turn on Do Not Disturb on your phone, flip it face down, Do Not Disturb on your computer, turn off all notifications, log out of all the social networks that you're in, remove them from your favorites bar, make it as hard as possible for you not to get distracted by any of these social networks, limit the amount of time that you spend on emails during the day, try to block out a portion of each hour or every other hour to answer emails. When you do get an email though, try to respond to it as quickly as possible within that hour. This is another great way to build trust when you're working remotely. Responding to communications as quickly as possible will build confidence in your team that you're working with. Communicate with your team as often as possible. It is your job to flag any issues. Don't wait for someone to ask you if everything's okay. Proactive communication is another level of trust building that is crucial to working from home successfully. Find out what works best for you and your team, be it Skype, Slack, Zoom, Google Hangouts, whatever you find is best for you and your team, use that and stick with it. One of the biggest drawbacks to working from home is not having the coworkers to bounce off ideas with. Being in regular communication with your team is a great way to build confidence to make sure all the work is being done. Try not to use the house Wi-Fi. Try to plug in directly to the internet, especially if there's a lot of people in the house. You'll find that the Wi-Fi gets a lot of bottlenecks. Try to plug in directly and avoid Wi-Fi altogether. It'll be faster and more reliable without any distractions. Communicate clear expectations with anyone that will be with you at home. Be it your spouse, your kids, any other family members that may be with you. Communicating to them that you will require blocks of time just to do work with minimal distraction is very important. But The reality is you will be distracted. Your kids will come into your room. Your spouse will need your help with something. These are the realities of working from home. And trying to balance both of them is something that you will need to figure out as time goes on. If you have kids, they will be excited that you're home. They'll want to play. They'll want to come in. They'll want to sit with you. Definitely early on, let them watch, let them sit, let them ask questions. They're going to be so excited and they're going to want to play with you. They're going to want to participate in what you're doing and communicate over and over what you're doing and why it's important that you're doing it. Over time, it will be easier to set that boundary with them when it's appropriate to come and distract you. But to begin with, expect a lot of distractions. They will be loud and they'll want to play all the time. Just know it'll take time to build those boundaries with the kids. But who can blame them? You're going to be at home, which is a huge benefit for them. If you do have family at home, pick up a really good pair of earphones, noise canceling if you can, and one with a mic built in. It'll help you focus on the tasks you have at hand because you will get distracted by any notifications, any sounds outside of your workspace, and let the people in the house know that you're wearing earphones. So if they do urgently need you, they will be able to get you. But having a good pair of earphones allows you to listen to some ambient music that is appropriate for the work that you're doing. It'll help you focus on the tasks at hand and get into the proper mindset and workflow and be as efficient as possible. Throughout the day, take clear breaks and communicate openly with your team that you're taking a coffee break, that you're grabbing lunch. Taking clear breaks throughout the day allows you to recharge and get your momentum back. It also sets up the workflow and the mindset that you would have for the regular pace of a day in an office. You'll find what works best for you, but even taking a 10-minute break just to grab a coffee, grab a drink, stretch your legs, it will help you be more productive throughout the day. It can become very easy to just keep working throughout the day and even into the night because you don't feel like you've accomplished enough. So setting a clear end time for your work, think of it this way. If you were commuting, you would know that you need to finish at this point to get into the car or on the train to get back home at a certain time. So if you set up your workday the same way where there's a clear end time for the day and trying to stick to it as well as possible will help you set a good workflow every single day to make sure that you're accomplishing the tasks that you need to do. Because you only have a certain amount of time to get the work done, which will trigger your mind to make sure you're as efficient as possible. Set a clear time to end your workday. I know that I have worked longer than I should have because it's hard to break away from a good flow. Make sure you give it back to yourself in the next couple of days. Always try to find that balance of how much you need to work and how much you need to do for yourself. If you work too much too often, you'll get into that routine and you'll actually burn yourself out. So make sure that you're paced and you're working the appropriate amount of hours throughout the day. If you feel like you need to work more that day, but make sure you give yourself that time back the next day, either in the morning or stopping sooner the next day. That's it, guys. Those are my tips for setting up a workspace at home to work remotely successfully. So now that you're working from home, make sure you check out this video, how to charge properly for your work. Let me know if you have any other questions about working from home or working remotely. Leave a comment down below for any productivity tips you have for working from home. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Rafael. Give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.